Now let's take our talents to Delaware now. We saw some upsets tonight, but first we'll get to those, but let's get to our game of the night. The offense ran through Ymir Knight tonight for the Eagles. It was Smyrna versus Central. Now watch as he comes upfield and somehow stays on his feet.
He's taking his talents to the end zone is what he's doing.
Absolutely, and there he goes in for the touchdowns. The Eagles were up 8-0 early, and how can anyone stop this earthquake formation down near the goal line is beyond me. The Knights had a hard time, definitely, and Knight is once again and Smyrna is in full control.
Yeah, and that defense is as good as the Eagles said they were when I talked to them during the preseason. Smyrna shuts out Sussex Central tonight 22-0. Brian Knight tossing a score there to Ymir Knight. And the Eagles moved to 3-1 on the season. Only loss so far is to defending champion Middletown. All right, and we had a big upset take place in the 2A District 3. Sussex Tech hosting 3-0 Lake Forest. Tech on 3rd and long at their own 9, and the long ball for Luke West. And he is into Spartan territory. How about West again, this time on the ground counter handoff. West showing off the wheels, and this would end with a touchdown for the Ravens. Now this play really hurt Lake Forest. Ravens on the punt. Spartan return man goes all the way back to the 2. One problem, he just puts the ball on the ground.
No, you can't let that happen. You got to let that ball go for a touchback.
Reginald Wright McLaughlin going to fall on it. The Sussex Tech Ravens say it's a touchdown. Officials said it was a touchback. They ended up ruling it a touchdown, and then Lake stayed in it right to the very end. Ravens lead 33-30. Last chance, Jonathan Tyndall just going to chuck it up, and it's incomplete. And Sussex Tech's going to hold on to win this one 33-30, knocking off previously unbeaten Lake Forest.
Brandon, I think that's a theme of the night in the Henlopen. So let's go to the Seaford, the 4-0 Blue Jays hosting the 1-2 Indian River team. IR jumped out to a 14-8 lead thanks to that goal line run by Javion Chandler. And the Blue Jays offense was struggling in the second quarter. Now Jacob Keglowitz breaks down the sideline to the opposing 20 with 30 seconds left in the half. But the Jays would just stall out. They went into halftime down 14-8, the first halftime deficit all season for the Blue Jays. Coach Quillen was talking to his boys to right the ship, and I think his coaching helped out of the second half gate. Jazante Levin breaks out. He runs track. A great 200-meter runner, I've been told, showing his speed right there on his 55-yard touchdown. The Blue Jays tied the game up, but it doesn't last long. IR would have another good drive, end up on the goal line. Chandler would run it in yet again. IR would go up 21-14, but the Blue Jays respond late in the fourth. Levin hits him with another haymaker, breaks downfield for another touchdown run. The Blue Jays pull within 1 point. It's 21-20. Now they could have went in for the extra point to tie the game up, to tie it up at 21 with 5 minutes left in the game. They decided to go for 2.
This is interesting.
And let's see how it goes. I mean, that choice proved costly right there. They didn't get it. They're down 1. Now they did have one final possession with 1 minute left. 4th down. Bolden is incomplete to Matthew. No flags, and that's the ball game. Blue Jays suffered their first loss of the year at the hands of Indian River.
Going for 2, down 1 at home. Very interesting.
Now,
20 minutes up the road to Greenwood, Woodbridge hosting the Delmarva Wildcats. Not much suspense in this one. Wildcats clawed out the jugulars of the Blue Raiders early. The defense was pressuring the quarterback all night with sack after sack. And the offense in full control of the Woodbridge defense all game long as Delmar set a season high with 41 points as they blow out Woodbridge 41-14.
And Brandon, 2 more scores from tonight. Milford shut out by Red Lion Christian tonight, 39-0. So after that 2-0 start, they have now lost 3 straight. All 3 losses were blowouts. And speaking of blowouts, a 50-6 win for Laurel over Polytech. Bulldogs have outscored their opponents 188-13. Cesar Rodney and Dover, they play tomorrow. Now, Brandon, this week has been just full of upsets. I mean, just as things begin to play out smoothly, a few variables get thrown into the mix, and a wrench is thrown into some teams' progresses this season. Again, we just talked about Blue Jays. They lost their undefeated season, and also obviously not Woodbridge, but Sussex Tech, when their win over Lake Forest, another undefeated team goes down. I mean, Blue Jays, going back to them, they were 4-0 before tonight. IR was 1-2, and that defense for IR was just too great. The Blue Jays were missing their weekly dominance by Kareem Bolden and Avion Matthews, and kind of like the Tribe, I think Bolden was kind of dealing with an injury, just like Malik Leatherbury is, and I think that kind of kind of put a ceiling on Seaford's offense, and I think that's the reason why they lost that game today against Indian River.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for the 1A, that really shows the difference between Laurel and the rest of the 1A, because if Laurel loses Caden Shockley, I think they still go out and they can beat almost anybody in the 1A, whereas Seaford, I mean, you lost to Indian River.
Right.
It's very interesting.
And again, only one player, their QB, most important position, but they didn't have enough depth around him to kind of make up for that difference. And he was able to play. Very hobbled though, limping everywhere. He wasn't able to kind of do his Michael Vick impression in terms of scrambling and making magic with his feet. But maybe he'll heal up and things will be a little bit different going forward in the season.
Well, I just want to say, Smyrna defense, I was told before the season that they didn't want to give up more than 21 points in a game the entire way. 3 shutouts already in 4 games. The only loss was to Middletown, 21-14.
Wow. Putting their money where your mouth is. Now, as we go forward, we have your forecast coming up with the latest from Ian. With the weekend weather, power outages are on the minds of many. What is Delmarva Power saying? See after the break.
Hi, my name is Marlon McDormand, and I'm with Pocomoke Field Hockey, and you are watching Delmarva Sports Insider.